The Laughing Council. The Galactic Council chamber was carved from stone older than most civilizations in the stars. High walls glowed with blue crystals, and banners of alien empires hung above rows of curved seats. More than 20 alien species had gathered, their voices echoing in a mix of growls, hisses, and clicks. They were united in one mood: amusement. At the center of the chamber floated a hologram of a ship. It was small, gray, and unimpressive compared to the monstrous vessels of the galaxy. Its armor looked thin, its design outdated. The humans had called it a warship. The council burst into laughter. "This is their weapon?" croaked a reptilian delegate, his scales shimmering under the chamber light. "My cargo freighters are bigger than this toy." Another delegate, a tall insectoid with shining mandibles, clacked in rhythm. "Humans are strange. Do they really think this little machine can stand against our fleets? We have dreadnoughts that block out suns." From the far row, a giant creature with tusks shook his head. "They are a young race. They do not understand war. Let them bring their toy ship. It will make the destruction even easier." The chamber filled again with laughter, harsh and cruel. Some of the younger alien representatives even banged their hands on the table, mocking the humans as children trying to play soldier. But not all voices laughed. A few delegates, the quiet observers, watched with unease. They had studied humans more closely. They remembered history, how quickly humanity had risen from a single planet to spacefaring colonies. In less than a century, they had jumped from fire rockets to faster than light travel. It was unusual, too fast, too determined, yet their doubts drowned in the noise of mockery. The hologram zoomed in, showing the human warship more clearly. It was small, yes, but it had clean lines, no wasted space. A single large cannon ran through its spine. No dozens of turrets, no swarm of secondary guns, no heavy armor plating. Just one weapon. "One cannon?" A delegate scoffed, his tentacles waving as he laughed. "Do they plan to poke us with a stick?" The laughter rolled again, and the chamber shook with cruel delight. Far away, in the silent darkness of space, the warship itself drifted. It was real, not hologram. Its name was simple: HSS Valiant. Inside, the crew moved with quiet discipline. No one was laughing. The captain, a man with gray hair and eyes like cold steel, stood at the bridge window, watching the stars. His officers waited for his word, their faces calm. They knew what the aliens did not. Back in the chamber, the laughter reached its peak. Some delegates proposed a contest. Let the humans bring their ship against a small fleet, just to test. "Go us 100 cruisers," one alien said, smirking. "That will be enough. Any more would be an insult to our true power." The council leader, an ancient being with a glowing shell, raised one claw for silence. "So it is decided. The humans will face a fleet, their toy ship against the weapons of real empires. Then the galaxy will see their weakness clearly." The decision passed with cheers and mocking applause, but in the shadows of the chamber, one quiet voice whispered to another, "Why do the humans come at all? Why bring only one ship if they know it is weak? Do they seek martyrdom, or do they know something we do not?" The other voice only hissed, "Fools do not know their own foolishness." The chamber emptied slowly, the sound of laughter still ringing through its high walls. Meanwhile, aboard the HSS Valiant, the captain finally spoke. His voice was calm, almost too calm. "They are laughing at us," he said, as if stating a simple fact. "Yes, sir," one officer replied. The captain's eyes narrowed, fixed on the star map where the alien fleets were gathering. "They believe this ship is weak. They believe we are weak." Silence filled the bridge. Only the hum of the engines could be heard. Then the captain allowed himself the smallest of smiles. "They don't understand," he whispered. "One shot is all we need." And with that, the warship glided forward into the dark, carrying the secret that would soon silence the laughter of the galaxy. Humanity's secret weapon. The HSS Valiant moved like a shadow through the void. Around it, Alien fleets burned their engines, closing the distance with arrogant confidence. Their warships were massive, glowing with lines of energy, carrying weapons that had destroyed civilizations before humans ever dreamed of touching the stars. But inside the human ship there was no panic. The crew sat at their stations with steady hands. They had trained for this moment. They had whispered about it in secret halls for years. Now it was real. The captain stood in silence at the center of the bridge. His uniform was plain, nothing decorated, nothing proud. His eyes moved across the screens, enemy signatures everywhere. Hundreds of ships, some cruisers, some destroyers, and beyond them, the Dreadnoughts. Gigantic vessels that could crush planets if left unchecked. And still the captain's voice was calm. Weapons check. The gunnery officer nodded. Primary system online, charging coils, containment stable. A faint vibration ran through the ship's frame. Lights flickered across the long spine of the Valiant. Something was waking inside, a weapon not seen before in this galaxy. The younger officer at communications swallowed hard. Sir, they still mock us. Open frequencies. Alien channels are filled with laughter. They call us insane. They say we have brought a knife to a war of cannons. The captain did not respond at once. His gaze shifted to the large window at the front of the bridge. Beyond it, the stars were calm, silent, infinite. Let them laugh, he said at last. History does not remember laughter. It remembers silence. The silence after power speaks. The crew straightened at his words. The secret in humanity's past. Not long ago, humanity had been a fractured race. Nations on Earth fought each other with old weapons, with greed and pride. But one day they learned to unite, not because of friendship, but because of fear. The galaxy had discovered them. Alien ships had appeared in their skies, and the Council had demanded surrender. Humanity's answer had been different. They had bowed politely, signed the agreements, and smiled, as if beaten. But beneath the surface, in deep mountains and hidden stations, their scientists worked without rest. They designed something not for battle after battle, but for a single truth: to end wars before they could even begin. That truth now slept inside the Valiant. It was not a weapon like the aliens knew. Their fleets used plasma, antimatter beams of burning light. But the humans had chosen another path. Simple words could describe it. A cannon that bent energy itself. A shot that carried the weight of a dying star. One shot. That was all. Back to the present. The alien fleets formed their lines, bright arcs of ships stretching across the black. Their commanders laughed, some even broadcasting messages to the human ship. Run now, little prey. We will give you a head. Start. Your ship is a toy. After it burns, your homeworld will follow. The bridge of the Valiant was silent. The messages played, but no one answered. The engineer leaned closer to his screen. Containment at 90%. Core stable. We are almost ready. The hum grew louder, a deep vibration that shook the bones of every crew member. It was as if the ship itself was alive, preparing to breathe for the first time. In the observation deck, some younger crew stared at the glowing line running through the ship's hull. Fear touched their eyes, but also something else: hope. The captain walked slowly across the bridge. His hand brushed the edge of the control table. His voice was low, but every crew member heard it. Every empire thinks size is power. They believe strength is in numbers, but we... He looked up at the window again, where hundreds of alien ships glowed in arrogant formation. We believe in precision. We believe in one strike, one moment. That is all humanity ever needed. The words sank deep into his crew. They knew their history. Humanity had never been the strongest, never the fastest. But again and again, when cornered, humans had found ways to strike where it mattered most. To survive. To win. The last preparation. The enemy fleet moved closer, their weapons flashing to life. Thousands of lights burned in the dark, aimed at the lone human ship. The communications officer whispered, "They are ready to fire on us, sir. The captain's hand tightened into a fist. "So are we." The gunnery officer spoke sharply. "Containment stable. Cannon charged." The ship's hum reached a peak, like a storm trapped inside metal. Lights raced across its hull, forming a single glowing line. The spine of the Valiant shone like a star about to be born. The alien commanders laughed again, their voices filling every channel, mocking the humans one last time. And still, the captain did not answer. He only whispered to himself, soft enough that only the bridge could hear. "One shot. That is all." The order hung in the air. Not yet given, not yet unleashed. Suspense burned hotter than any weapon. The galaxy waited for what came next. The battle begins. The alien fleets surrounded the human warship like wolves around a lone traveler. Hundreds of ships glowed in the darkness, their engines burning bright, their weapons alive with energy. Some moved in close, eager for the kill. Others hung back, watching with arrogant smiles. To them, this was not a battle. It was a lesson. Humanity would learn its place, weak, small, and forgettable. On the bridge of the HSS Valiant, the crew waited in silence. The captain stood tall at the center, his hands behind his back. The hum of the cannon filled the ship, a deep vibration that made the air feel heavy. Lights along the spine of the warship glowed brighter, like a star being born inside the hull. The communications officer whispered, "They are transmitting again, sir. Mocking us." The captain's lips pressed into a thin line. He did not answer. Instead, the alien voice boomed over the bridge speakers, dripping with arrogance. "Humans, you dare bring this toy into our war? We will not only destroy you, we will erase your planet. Your species will be remembered only as a joke." Some alien ships fired warning shots, beams of light cutting across the void, exploding far from the Valiant's hull. Sparks of color danced in the black like fireworks celebrating their own victory too soon. The crew did not flinch, the captain's gaze fixed on the star map. Red dots covered the screen, hundreds of them. And yet, his eyes were calm. He finally spoke. His voice was steady, almost gentle. "Target the central dreadnought." The gunnery officer adjusted controls with careful hands. "Locked, sir." The alien fleet moved closer. Commanders laughed in their comms, their voices overlapping into a chorus of cruelty. "Do it, human. Fire your toy. Show us your weakness. Before we crush you." The captain's hand rose slowly. The crew watched. Time itself seemed to freeze. Then his hand fell. Fire. The silence. Before. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. The alien fleets laughed harder, believing the weapon had failed. And then silence. Not the silence of empty space, but a silence that carried weight, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. The spine of the Valiant flared. A single beam erupted forward, not wide, not chaotic, but pure, focused, perfect. It was not light. It was not fire. It was something older, something sharper, a thread of energy that bent reality around it. Space rippled like a stone dropped into still water. The beam touched the central dreadnought, and the universe screamed. The strike. The dreadnought, 3 kilometers of armored metal, armed with weapons that could crack moons, did not resist. It did not explode in pieces. It simply vanished. One moment it was there, shining with power, and the next it was gone, erased, as if it had never existed. The shockwave rippled outward. Every ship near the dreadnought cracked apart like glass, under a hammer. Cruisers shattered, destroyers burned, their engines tearing free from their hulls. Hundreds of ships died in an instant without a chance to fire. Alien voices filled the comms, screams, confusion, disbelief. What is happening? Impossible. Our sensors, our ships. Retreat, retreat. The once mighty fleet, so arrogant and full of laughter, now broke apart in panic. Ships fled in every direction, colliding with each other in desperation. The silence of arrogance had turned into the chaos of terror, and still the Valiant floated calm and unmoved. The reactions in the Galactic Council chamber, delegates froze. The hologram that had once been a source of mockery now showed the impossible. Their fleet's thousands of years of military pride reduced to ashes by one human shot. Some shouted in anger, "This cannot be real, trickery, illusion." Others whispered in fear, "No, it is real, I saw it, I felt it." One delegate, who had mocked the humans most, collapsed into his chair, his mandibles trembling. One shot, it destroyed them all. The laughter that had filled the chamber hours before was gone. In its place, only silence remained. Back, on the Valiant, the crew did not cheer. They did not smile. Their faces remained steady, their hands moving with discipline. The gunnery officer reported in a quiet voice, "Primary weapon cooling. Core stable. We are ready for another shot if needed." The captain shook his head slowly. "No, one is enough." He looked at the stars where wreckage floated silently. His voice dropped to a whisper, more to himself than to his crew. "Let them remember this moment. Let them carry our silence home." The comm officer turned in his chair. "Sir, alien fleets are retreating. They're scattering. No one dares fire back." The captain gave no order to chase, he simply nodded. "Good. Let them run." The Valiant drifted forward, its engines calm, its lights dimming again to shadows. It did not roar in victory. It simply moved as if nothing had happened. The galaxy trembles across the stars. Signals flew faster than light. Every empire, every colony, every outpost heard the same story. The humans fired once and annihilated the Council's greatest fleet. Whispers spread like wildfire. Was it real? Could one ship hold such power? Was this the end of war itself or only the beginning of something far worse? Some aliens swore vengeance. Others begged for peace before it was too late. Children whispered the tale in fear. Soldiers looked to the stars with doubt in their eyes, but all agreed on one truth. The humans had arrived, and the galaxy would never laugh at them again. Shockwaves across the galaxy. The battlefield was quiet now. Where once hundreds of alien ships had filled the void, only fragments remained. Broken hulls, burning wreckage, drifting bodies. The stars themselves seemed to shine colder, as if the universe had witnessed something it was not ready to see. The HSS Valiant moved slowly through the silence. Its engines hummed softly, almost gentle, like a predator that no longer needed to prove its strength. No victory banners, no celebration, only the calm after annihilation. Inside the ship, the crew sat in silence. Their hands moved with discipline, running checks, recording data. Not one of them cheered. Not one of them smiled. They all understood what had happened. They had changed history with a single strike. The captain stood at the bridge window. His reflection stared back at him. Gray hair, weary eyes, a face that carried the weight of a secret too heavy for one man. He whispered only 3 words. "It is done." The council's panic far away. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, chaos exploded. Delegates shouted over one another, their voices a storm of fear and rage. "They cheated," one roared, his tusks clattering as he slammed the table. "No weapon can erase a dreadnought in a single strike." Another, a thin, serpent-like being, hissed back, "I saw it, you all saw it. There was no trick. Their ship, their cannon. It was real." The insectoid delegate who had mocked the humans earlier now trembled, his mandibles clicking nervously. If this is their weak warship, what do their strong ones look like? The chamber fell into a heavy silence at that question. No one wanted to answer it. The council leader, older than most civilizations, raised his glowing claw. "Calm yourselves. This changes everything. If humanity holds such a weapon, no empire is safe. We must decide. Will we face them in war or kneel in fear?" But even the leader's voice trembled. Whispers in the streets across alien worlds. News spread, faster than light. Soldiers, traders, children, elders, everyone heard the story. The council's mighty fleet destroyed by one human shot. On a water world, alien children sat by glowing pools, whispering. They say the humans used a weapon that eats stars. No, another argued. It was not a weapon, it was a curse. Their ship is cursed. On a desert colony, miners paused their work, staring up at the night sky. One spat into the dust. If this is true, then war is over. No one can fight such power. But another miner shook his head. Or it has just begun, because no empire will rest until they steal the human's secret. Fear turned into rumors. Rumors turned into legends. And legends spread like fire. The survivors' horror from the shattered fleet, a few alien ships had escaped. Their captains sent desperate transmissions back to their homeworlds. We saw it with our own eyes, one survivor cried, his voice breaking. The humans did not fight. They did not chase. They fired once and erased us. Another transmission came from a panicked crew. Do not face them. Do not mock them. Their silence is death itself. The survivors became the loudest voices in the galaxy. Their fear infected entire empires. Even warriors who had fought for centuries shivered at their words. Humanity's silence, yet, as fear spread, the humans themselves said nothing. No speeches, no threats, no demands. The Valiant did not return to the battlefield to gloat. It did not hunt the retreating fleets. It simply turned and glided back into the dark, its engines dim as if it had never been there at all. This silence terrified the galaxy more than any victory cry could have, because silence left questions. Was the cannon still ready? Did Earth have more ships like the Valiant? Was the human fleet hidden, waiting to strike again? Or worse, was there no fleet at all? Just one ship, one weapon, and a species willing to bet everything on it? No one knew, and that made the fear endless. The splitting empires in the Council, old alliances began to fracture. Some races demanded immediate peace with humanity. We must bow before them, one delegate cried. We must beg for mercy. If they can destroy fleets with one shot, they can erase entire worlds. Others were furious, blinded by pride. No, we cannot kneel to primitives. We must unite our weapons, build greater fleets, find their weakness. There must be a way to kill them. But beneath the shouting, everyone knew the truth. If another battle came, it might end the same way. Empires began to whisper behind closed doors, planning secret negotiations with Earth. Others plotted assassinations, sabotage, anything to stop the humans before it was too late. The galaxy was no longer united. Humanity had broken it with a single strike. The captain's reflection on the Valiant. The captain sat alone in his quarters. His desk was bare, except for a single photo. Earth, blue and white, fragile and small. He stared at it for a long time. His crew believed in him, the galaxy feared him, but he knew the truth. Humanity had only one weapon like this, one ship, one chance. If the aliens ever discovered the secret, humanity might never survive another war. He whispered to the photo, to his home. They think we are gods, but we are only human, and one day they will learn the difference. The hum of the ship filled the silence. The captain closed his eyes. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Somewhere among them, rumors of fear and awe grew with every passing moment. Humanity had spoken once, and the galaxy would never forget the sound of that silence. The legend of the weak warship, the galaxy did not sleep. Across 1,000 star systems, voices carried the same story, whispered in fear, retold in awe. One human warship, one shot, an entire fleet destroyed. In marketplaces, traders paused their bargaining to speak of it. In schools, alien children asked their teachers if the humans were monsters or gods. In military academies, cadets studied the few surviving recordings of the blast, pausing, rewinding, replaying the moment the dreadnought disappeared as if swallowed by the void. It no longer mattered what was true or false. The legend was alive. The warship that never spoke. The strangest part, to every alien who heard the tale, was not the weapon itself. It was the silence. The humans did not broadcast victory speeches. They did not demand surrender or tribute. They did not even explain what their weapon was. After the strike, their warship had simply turned and vanished into deep space, leaving the wreckage behind like a scar across the stars. For the galaxy, this silence was louder than any words. Children whispered to each other before sleep, "If you laugh too loud, the humans will hear you, and then the weak warship will come." Soldiers who had once mocked humanity now looked over their shoulders in space, afraid of shadows, afraid of every dot on the scanner. The story spread and grew. Some said the humans had created a weapon from a dying sun. Others swore it was powered by the souls of their dead. A few claimed it wasn't even a weapon at all, but a piece of ancient technology the humans had found and learned to control. The truth didn't matter. The silence kept the fear alive. The Council's division in the halls of the Galactic Council, fear turned into paranoia. Some leaders pushed for surrender. "We cannot face them again," one delegate cried. "If one ship can do this, what will a fleet do? What will their planet unleash?" Others clenched their jaws in pride. "We are billions. They are only one world. They must be hiding something. No one creates such a weapon without weakness." But no agreement came. The Council was no longer united. Some empires secretly sent envoys to Earth, offering treaties, gifts, alliances. Others began working on their own desperate weapons, racing, to match the humans' impossible strike. Yet even in their labs, their scientists whispered, "What if it cannot be copied? What if it was not science at all, but something only humans could do?" The galaxy's balance was broken. One shot had shattered it. The survivors' shadows, those who had escaped the battle, carried their nightmares everywhere. Captains who once spoke with arrogance now woke in the night screaming. Crew members who survived refused to fly near human space again. One survivor, half mad, was recorded shouting in a crowded station, "They did not fight. They did not chase. They looked at us as if we were already dead." And then we were. His words spread like fire across the stars. To some, he was a fool. To others, a prophet. Either way, his fear became the galaxy's fear. Back on Earth, humanity lived quietly. To ordinary people, life continued. Children played in parks. Ships carried goods between colonies. Families built homes under new suns. Few even knew the full truth of what had happened. The crew of the Valiant returned, as ghosts. No parades, no awards. They stepped off their ship with steady faces, their secret locked behind tired eyes. They had saved their world, yes, but also cursed it. Because now the galaxy watched them not with contempt, but with dread. In a small office beneath the mountains, the captain wrote his report. He ended with only one line. "They will never laugh at us again, but they will never forget either." He signed it, closed the file, and never spoke of it again. The making of a legend. Years passed. The galaxy grew, but the story did not die. Every alien world had its own version of the tale. Some told it as a warning. Do not mock the weak, for they may carry hidden fire. Others told it as a curse. The humans wait in silence. If we anger them, they will return. The weak warship became more than a ship. It became a symbol. To some, it was the shadow of fear. To others, the hope of justice. To all, it was unforgettable. The closing silence. And somewhere, out in the endless dark, the HSS Valiant drifted still. Its hull carried no markings of glory. Its crew did not boast of victories. Its captain sat in quiet thought, staring at the stars, knowing the truth that the galaxy never would. There was no fleet, no endless arsenal, only one ship, one weapon, one chance. But the galaxy would never know that. They only knew the silence. And silence sometimes was the greatest weapon of all.